a wonderful painting given to her personally by Tom T. Hall. How about Tom T. Hall? Come on. And this is a self-shadow portrait on the wall of my barn, acrylic. It is Tom T. Hall for Vaughn. Tom T. Hall, 2014. How about Tom T. Hall? Yes.
Is Vaughn there? All right. William, we're ready.
No, you're not.
We'll get ready. Like herding cats.
So anyway, before we go a little bit further, we want to tell you about some wonderful books, resources that are going to be ending up in the Hillbilly Music Museum, under lock and key, of course, because these were contributed by Rhoda. It tells all about all the songs from 1944 to 1988, and it includes my song, She Says. Luckily, it doesn't include 1989, because that's when it all was over, for me. But no, it's not over, because everything starts again right here at historic Handy Hardware, beautiful downtown Franklin, Tennessee. But also, Alice Derry has contributed this stack that is going to go into the Hillbilly Music Museum mobile book mobile to tell us all about the history. More about that later. Do you have the Hillbilly Music Museum sign?
William does.
Here comes our Hillbilly Music Museum sign. What we'd like to do before we start the preamble ramble is practice once again. You all shout out Hillbilly Music Museum when the signs go up. By the way, the Hillbilly Music Museum will not be open necessarily today, but it is open Monday through next Saturday, I guess. And it's right here behind the wall at historic Handy Hardware. Are y'all ready to do the Hillbilly Music Museum flashcard? When he holds up the sign, scream out that word.
Can you say that again?
Please.
Someone
Here we
say
go.
it. That's too much to remember.
Hillbilly! Music! Museum!
That's right, the Hillbilly Music Museum is located right here at historic Handy Hardware.
You can't miss
beautiful
it.
downtown Franklin. Now it's time for the preamble ramble.
Preamble ramble. All right.
And now we're on.
Now we're going to get this thing started. Good morning, folks, and welcome.
Hello, everyone.
We're glad you all are here because we're here to have a good time, and we want you all to have a great time, all right? I don't care if you clap, stomp your feet, dance, yodel, or even throw things at William. Just have a good time. Now, we got a couple of visual aids during the show, and William's going to show you the first one, and please do it when you see it, please.
Oh, this way. There we are.
Right. There we go. Yeah. Now, William, help us with where we are.
When this sign goes up, we need you to read it. And it goes, Viva NashVegas.
Let's try that one time, William. Flash it up there.
Viva NashVegas.
All right, mighty fine. Give yourself a hand. How about that? Now, let's go over a few things before we get it started. William, what about the seating?
The seating is, well, it looks like we got a full house today, so
it's-
we're out of seating.
All right, but please keep the aisles a little bit clear, okay? Now, you're going to find the exit.
At the front end of the building where we come in,
Come in, find the cold drink machine up there, too.
right beside the register.
What about cell phones, William?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we're rolling.
Yeah.
Cell phones are either on off or silence.
Yeah, if you do that for us, we appreciate it. Now, as you can see, there's cameras located all through here, so be a little,
Here we have them all over.
yeah, be a little cognizant, because we're on worldwide TV right now, actually.
And even when the show is over, the cameras will still be on. So.
And they'll still be filming everything you do, too, so be careful. Now, if the lights go out, what am I gonna do, William?
You have a giant flashlight.
We will
That
take
lead us
care
all
of
out.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right, now, the comfort areas,
would be to my right, and there are two available.
how they labeled,
One is marked men,
and the other,
employees only.
so women use your own discretion. All right, in case of a flood, what do we not want to do, William?
We do not want to use our seats as flotation devices.
No, not at all. Not at all. Now, the popcorn is always fresh and free, and you can find that.
To my right,
There we go. Now, if I can find him, we're going to introduce the host of the show.
and if he's available, we will now
We will get him up there
now
somewhere.
try to and we are working on getting for you the host,
The host of the show.
George
And
Hamilton, Sophia.
the host of the new NashVegas radio show.
That's me. How y'all doing today?
We're good, George.
I'll tell you what. You know, this entire month of May, we're going to be celebrating, well, all kinds of, it's a back rub, what do you call it? Some kind of body alignment. It's Body Alignment Month, and we're also celebrating our 2nd year anniversary of the Viva NashVegas radio show. We haven't aged a bit. That's the magic of makeup. But you know, we're very excited because at this time we're going to bring out something to start out the show in a traditional yet primitive way. Heavenly Choir, we don't have Michael Kelch this time, do we? How about a hand for the Heavenly Choir?
Yes.
Are you ready, Heavenly Choir?
We are.
Turn your radio on.
It's the Viva NashVegas radio show live from historic Handy Hardware in beautiful downtown Franklin, Tennessee. Can you say Viva NashVegas?
Viva NashVegas!
So much fun. Dennis Barton Jr., I know you're nervous, aren't you?
I am nervous. This is a big show, George.
You know we've got some big things going on today.
Big shoes today, let me tell you.
And William Covington was actually in charge of the cones in the parking lot. Everybody, how about a hand for William Covington? Folks, it just don't get no bigger than this. You're probably wondering how we could afford to bring such talent to our show.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I could say a million things, but we don't have time for that. You know what? Say no more. It's Freddy LaBour!
That's right. Say no more. It's Freddy LaBour. Howdy, folks. Good morning. Say no more. Freddy LaBour at the hardware store on the day before May the 4. Everybody here getting their supplies and tools to do their chores, except this guy. I laid up in the bed this morning. Okay, it was almost noon when the door came off of the hinges and my wife stomped into the room. She hit me with a coat hanger. She called me a worthless bum. She said it was come to Jesus time and my lazy days were done. I said it's these aspiration blues, honey. These sorry aspiration blues. Now when I'm just a little more rested, I might have the strength to lose these doggone aspiration blues. I said, oh honey, please cut me some slack. Remember my deprived childhood? And of course there's my bad back. She said the only thing wrong with your back is it ain't got no bone. You better straighten up and fly right, Jack, or you'll back right out of this home. You and your aspiration blues. I'm tired of your fat old aspiration blues. I'll kick you out of this union unless you catch up on your dues and lose those aspiration blues. I know to get the rabbit out of the doggone log, you got to make a cow-cow commotion just like a doggone dog. Well, I may start tomorrow and I may start next year. But right now I believe I'll park my aspiration here. I got my aspiration blues. These funky aspiration blues. I'll just ease my foot off the gas and I'll let this sucker cruise, and that's the aspiration blues. Oh, honey, you know I'll get to it. I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll go down to Handy Hardware store and I'll get everything I need. Will you put down that coat hanger? Somebody called Metro, reported domestic disturbance. Aspiration. I was telling his story. Whilst downloading Durante, I wonder what he'd say if he could only see me this dawning digital day. If he could only hear his voice coming through this box, I'll bet it'd send a shiver from schnozola down to socks. I'll bet he'd say, I'm mystified, I'm petrified, I'm faint. How can I be here and there and everywhere I ain't? Well, I can't tell ya, Jimmy, what makes the gizmos go. But sometimes ink-a-dink-a-doo is all you got to know. On the last day of July, Jimmy kissed his wife goodbye and went off to eat a pleasant noontime meal. But he swore to spill the beans on some dirty backroom scenes, and somebody didn't wanna hear him squeal. Tell me who off Hoffa and where is Jimmy now? Can you tell me where the mighty teamster lies? Did he sink or did he swim? Did he fight to save his skin? Tell me who off Hoffa and why? Did some hitman from the mob get big money for the job? Was it someone Jimmy counted as a friend? Where RFK had failed when he had old Jimmy jailed, somebody else has finally done him in. Tell me who off Hoffa and where is Jimmy now? Can you tell me where the mighty teamster lies? Did they wrap him in a tarp? Is he organizing carp? Tell me who off Hoffa and why? Now when that great dispatcher, he finally calls me home, and I fly up to that truck stop in the sky. I'm gonna buy old Jim a cup of joe, and I'll pump him for everything he knows, and then I'll know who killed him and why. Tell me who off Hoffa and where is Jimmy now? I wonder where the mighty teamster lies. Was that just some stand-in actor that they ran through that compactor? Tell me who off Hoffa and why. Was he blown to kingdom come? Is he under Giant Stadium? Tell me who off Hoffa and why. Tell me why. I woke up this morning in Jolton, Tennessee, which is a paradise on earth. And Jolton, the land that Public Works forgot, as we often call it. And my wife and I, my lovely wife Roberta, who is here and selling my CD over there. I don't know where she is. She's
Roberta, though, yeah!
Roberta. She has my CD, my darling. We were watching the rose-breasted grosbeaks at the bird feeder this morning. We said we got to go to the Handy Hardware, get some bird feed for those beautiful birds out there. That's there goes a goose that's migrating northward. Maybe he'll stay in Franklin. So many people do. They're migrating somewhere else and they wind up in Franklin. But anyway, so the history of Jolton, apparently settled by Scots people thousands of years ago. I guess they came over on the land bridge and it reminded them of home, and they settled there. And the land bridge sank, leaving them primitive and isolated, where they remain to this day, actually. So now in the great caves beneath Jolton, the great limestone caves, we've discovered paintings on the wall that depict prehistoric life, including their religious rites, which revolved around the salting of the slug. They would take a virgin slug, I know those days are over, and they would place it on the altar and ritually salt it, and then to accompany its soul to slug heaven, which in slug theology is a dog's dish on God's back porch. I wish I could make this up. They would sing a song, and no surprise, I've learned this song. So this is handed down. This echoes through the prehistoric times. An unaccompanied Celtic ballad. When first I came to Jolton, my fortune there to find, I met some jolly countrymen on the Yazoo beer we dined. The talk soon turned to manly sport while the barbecue we chose. But they said, lad, you hanna live till you have salt the slough. They raise it high, their shakers full of Morton's finest grain. We crept out to the garden damp to there begin the game. I watched each creature swell and pop, did thrill me to the core. And every slug did learn that night that when it rains it falls. So I thought that was the end too. So if you're Aaron Jolton, knock poppin' chili brew, and hearty lads and lassies fair, do salt a slug or two, pray join the sporting company. Saking sex or drugs. God bless us jolly salters and take pity on the slugs. This is what NashVegas has come to in 2 years, celebrating the second year anniversary. Thank you very much. Say no more, Freddy.
Say no more, it's Freddy LaBour. Wait a minute. You don't want to believe yet, do you? Let me hear you scream. Come on. Don't want to know it's Freddy LaBour. You don't have any more? Can you just do one more song first? Because, you know, we don't get people like you dropping in that often.
You don't.
So are you originally from Jolton?
Because there's no one else like me.
That's true.
Well, I've lived there for 40 years. Ever since I moved to Nashville. I grew up in Michigan.
University of Michigan.
Western Michigan, actually. Yeah,
Near the lakes?
yeah, everything's near a lake up there.
Wildlife man.
With the who off.
But I listened to country music. I listened to your dad. I mean, I was so inspired. There was a radio station in Grand Rapids with Pat Boyd. Do you remember Pat Boyd, the DJ up there? And she would play George Hamilton before. She played Bill Anderson and all these great country artists, and I fell in love with country music as just a little guy, and Nashville was like Oz to me. That's like the coolest place on the earth. So as soon as I got out of college, it's like, that's where I'm going.
But when you were in college, something
Yes.
happened. Something very special. You were a part of a major movement with the Beatles.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yes.
How did you do it?
Well, it was the Paul McCartney. I was supposed to write a review of Abbey Road for the student newspaper. And the day before, I heard a guy call into the radio station in Detroit, and he said, "What's going on with Paul?" And the DJ's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, he's got a black boutonniere, and everybody else's is red, and there's a weird hand over his head on one of the album covers, and if you listen to the end of Strawberry Fields, you can clearly hear somebody say, 'I buried Paul.'" So we were like, "What's going on with Paul?" So I talked to one of my friends, and we were sort of goofing about it. And the next day, I put up all my Beatles records in a row on my desk and made up this cockamamie story that Paul had been killed and replaced in the Beatles by a lookalike named William Campbell.
So that was you.
That was me. I made it up. I sat there and I made up all this BS all night long, laughing to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're here at Henny Harbor now.
And I hear of Henny Harbor. I said like walrus is Greek for corpse. Yeah, that's good. I'll put that.
So Rolling Stone or some other people covered your story, didn't they?
Everybody covered it. I was viral before viral was viral.
You're not contagious, are you?
I think I'm a carrier. It doesn't happen to me, but it happens to everybody else around me.
How did it feel when that time? Did you want to correct everything and say, no, no, no?
Well, I was, I thought it was amusing.
Yes.
So I thought it was like a satire. So it's hard to say, no, wait, it's a joke, you know? So I just...
Well, it became one of the biggest things,
I know, it was
too.
scary because it was this little guy in Michigan who's written this ridiculous story, and they're asking Paul about it. He's like, no, I'm still alive, you know?
Freddy, that scarred me for life
Who
as
is-
a child.
Scarred you for life? Did you play your records backwards?
I tried. Every one of them. Yeah, I got caught up.
That's like
in
one of
that.
those country things. If you play the song backwards as the dog comes home and the wife and all that stuff.
Nobody dies.
This is really amazing, though, to have you here, because as I read that, I was, wow. I mean, I grew up like you.
Yeah.
Well, you started the thing, but I grew up hearing the thing. And
I know.
thought, man,
I
amazing.
know, it was pretty amazing, and it was scary at the time, you know, but now it's sort of, well, whatever. And people still believe it, people still call me. I get phone calls from people that somehow get my number.
In the middle of the night.
Now, I have had that as well.
Was it David Spalding Jr.?
There's a guy in Minnesota who calls me and say, man, have you seen Italian scientists, man? They've proven it's not his voice. I'm like, you realize I wrote this song to make fun of people like you. Do you get that? So you don't believe it. It's like, well, no, I made it up.
Quite unbelievable. Have you got, now you have your brand new CD here that you'll be,
Yeah.
you'll be autographing and talking to the people.
I have, you know, when you join...
It says, look at theirs over there. It says, say no more. It's Freddy LaBour.
When you join the Opry, they give you a Sharpie. So I brought my Sharpie.
Are you all ready for one more?
One more?
Freddy LaBour. Yeah. All right.
Well, here's a. I don't know if I should do it. I've never done this before. This is a brand new song. So, we'll see how this goes. I was speeding downtown, kind of late for my gig, foot feet to the floor of my Cadillac rig. I had all the lights timed down, Maxwell Street. I knew I could just make it by the first downbeat. Whoa, there's the club. I pulled up to the curb with 2 minutes to spare, and then I suddenly heard, "You can't park here." What? I said, "You can't park here." No, wait, no, you see, I gotta go and say, I don't care who you know or who you think you are, you got to find someplace else to park this car because you can't park here. Oh man, please give me a break. I said, "You can't park here." Long story short, I lost my employment situation, so I drove across town for some feminine consolation. I rang Loretta's bell, the friendliest gal I knew. I said, "Loretta, I got to whine, now I just need you." We drove out to the bluff to kind of check out the stars. She popped the cork in the back seat of my car. She was like, "I like my barbecue, hot and sweet and choice." We was just about to the entree when I heard that awful voice. He said, "You can't park here." What? I said, "You can't park here." No, you don't know. I know Bill Anderson. I don't care who you know or who you think you are. You got to find some place else to park this car because you can't park here. Oh man, I got a permit. You can't park here. Call me frustrated Freddy. I went home to bed. I had a weird dream. I dreamed I was dead. I was driving my caddy up through the air, 'cause my eternal reward was waiting up there. Whoa, there's St. Peter. He was standing at the gate. I could hear a band from inside. Man, that band sounded great. I said, "Well, I guess this means I'm forgiven my sins." He said, "Not so fast, Jack, 'cause you ain't getting in, and you can't park here." Oh, man, even in mine, you can't park here. I don't care who you know or who you think you are. Find someplace else to put this Cadillac car because you can't park here. I'm gonna talk to your supervisor. I ain't got one. You can't park here, but this is heaven. Somebody must be a supervisor. You can't talk to. You can't park here. A world premiere. Thank you, George. Thank you, everybody. Sing them all.
World premiere for Freddy LaBour. Viva NashVegas radio show. This program out of Freddy LaBour. Remember, you can meet him, shake his hand, see his CDs. They'll be there. He's the greatest. We're going to let William and David talk for just a second while I move the microphones around. Michael Kelch may come and help me too. William and David, say something to each other about what you've been doing this week.
You know what, William? If I was king for a day, you know what I'd do? No, I'd make one rule.
All right, what would that be?
You can only do yard work during normal business hours.
Okay.
My neighbor started his lawnmower at 6:30 this morning.
Today was Saturday.
Today's
I thought they
Saturday.
did it Sunday morning.
Yeah, they do it on Sunday too. Boy, I just hate that. So, did you get your grass cut this week?
No.
Why?
Can't walk that much. I tried. I can walk maybe.
We'll get you there. I think George has got some things going here.
Yeah, I believe we're getting ready to set up and it's on the show. Oh,
Talk on the microphone.
Big things are coming up. Man.
yeah.
Big things.
You know, I remember big guest. George, I asked for a microphone. But anyway, we're getting ready to.
Yeah, we got stuff going on. So now, how about a big hand for some impromptu conversation with William and David Garcia. Now perhaps you understand. Wait, don't say that yet. Now perhaps you understand why we call him a man of constant leisure, David Sparta Jr. He is a man of constant leisure. He's David Sparta Jr.
Don't do today what you can put off for tomorrow.
It's phenomenal. You know, the magic just keeps happening. I was able to move my microphone stand. We have some really big people in the audience today. Back in the back, 2 country for Nashville. How about a hand for them? And a man who's even bigger than that. I'm joking. The one and only hit songwriter, Bobby Tomberlin.
Yeah, Bobby's here today. Yeah.
Of course, I'm here also. How about a hand for me? Well, this is when I start getting nervous. You know, one of the great things about doing this show is that it's like a family affair. And it is a family affair. When you grow up in Nashville, it's a very interesting thing. Sometimes I think it's a very different type of thing. Because you're walking in the shadows of giants. And I don't want to start crying right now, so I won't. But I mean, we got some people here today who have put that town on the map and made country music. Country music. Let's have a hand. Come on. Our special guest will be coming up in a minute. But we have somebody who's a special guest too, and it's that family tradition. I'd like to bring out my dad, George Hamilton IV. Now you notice I'm looking at the microphones as he sets up because I'm the sound man too. So let me see. It looks pretty good.
Thank you. This was the title track of my first RCA album, RCA Victor. In 1960, the title song of my first Nashville RCA album. Wedding bells are ringing on 2 sides of town tonight. One wedding is at 7, one's at 9. A pair of old sweethearts will hold their new sweethearts so tight. Best of luck to you and yours from me and mine. To you and yours, may happiness flow free. May you find in him the faith you lost in me. And although I don't love her yet, perhaps I will in time. Best of luck to you and yours from me and mine. I'm afraid to say I do, for fear I really don't. Afraid my conscience might not walk the line. For even though I'll kiss her lips, it's your lips that I want. Best of luck to you and yours from me and mine. That's the difference between you and yours and me and mine. To you and yours, may happiness flow free.
May you find in him the faith you lost in me. And although I don't love her yet, perhaps I will in time. Best of luck to you and yours from me and mine. Best of luck to you and yours from me and mine.
You mentioned that was the title track of your first RCA album. I have it right here.
All right.
And guess who wrote that?
Wait, don't tell me yet, because I wanted to ask you a question.
Okay. All right.
This is a brief commercial for the Hillbilly Music Museum. Have you been to see the Hillbilly Music Museum?
I certainly have, and it's wonderful.
Did you see Abilene, the album? In there?
I did, and I was real pleased to see that, and a lot of other wonderful CDs and LPs. And
All kinds of stuff, and a tractor that crashed into a tree. Parts of that tractor are now in the Hillbilly Music Museum. How about a hand for the Hillbilly Music Museum? Well, that song then is it relates to this show we have going on right now, because it includes you and our next special guest, a man who's a member of the Songwriters Hall of Fame, the Country Music Hall of Fame, Grand Ole Opry. He is quite phenomenal. I like to think of him as a dear friend, because I grew up around his house. We're all family friends. I've got his album cover. I'll hold it up as you say his name.
Bill Anderson.
Oh yeah, Bill Anderson.
Thank you. Wow, great to be here. Boy, you just brought back a lot of memories with that song you just sang.
I think it was 1960.
It was about, yeah. So how old were you, 13?
You're very kind.
I was 12.
Bill Anderson, for the record, he didn't tell me this, somebody at the Country Music Hall of Fame did. He's the most recorded songwriter in the history of country music. Did you know that? He's had more songs recorded and more hits as well that he wrote for other people as well as himself than anybody else. That's quite an achievement.
Thank you.
I understand you originally went to college. Were you studying journalism? Was that it?
I've always loved to write. And my two passions in life growing up were sports and country music and writing. And I always figured I would take some combination of that for what I was going to do with my life. Being a sports writer, that was what I really thought I would probably be. And then some things just fell into place, and I started writing songs, and been very, very blessed for a long, long time.
Were you still in journalism school when you got the job as a disc jockey playing country music, I guess?
Yeah, I worked my way. The last 3 years I was in school, I worked my way through by playing records on a little radio station. You said country disc jockey. I'll tell you an interesting story. I got fired from the first radio station that hired me because they didn't want to play country music. And I kept sneaking it in. And they snuck it right back out. But it was the nicest anybody ever got fired was when they fired me from that radio station, because the man that fired me helped me to get a job at another station where I could play country music to my heart's content. So that's how it happened.
There's a story about City Lights, which you wrote and was recorded by Ray Price, I think. Did you write that while you were at the radio station down there?
I wrote it while I was living in the little town of Commerce, Georgia, which is where I was on the radio. I lived in the tallest building in Commerce. It was 3 stories high. I lived on the top floor, and I used to go up on the roof of that little hotel at night, especially in the summertime, it would get so hot. The rooms weren't air conditioned or anything, and it would get so hot. I would take my guitar and go up on the roof of that little hotel and just sing to the night, you know. And I just happened to be up there one night, and it was a beautifully clear night, and I looked up and saw the stars, and I looked down at what few lights there were in Commerce, Georgia. It's 2 traffic lights and a drugstore sign going off and on. And somehow I managed to write the bright array of city lights as far as I can see. I changed my life that night and had no idea that's what I was doing.
Did you send it to Nashville, or how did you get it to Ray Price, or how did?
Well, it took kind of a long way around. I cut it first. They were building a television studio at the University of Georgia, and they had all the audio equipment ready to go, but they didn't have the video in, and they were wanting to test the audio equipment. So somehow through a connection, I got invited to go into this little studio to help them test the audio equipment. And I just happened to show up with a band, and we just happened to record City Lights while we were there. And I sent it to a man down in Texas named Bob Tanner, who had a little record company and publishing company called TNT Music and TNT Records. And he released my record of City Lights. Long story short, I sent it to Nashville. Great man who was a dear friend of yours, I know, the late Charlie Lamb, heard my record of it and took it to Chet Atkins and said, I like this song. And Chet was recording an artist named Dave Rich at the time, and he cut City Lights by Dave Rich, and Ray Price heard Dave Rich's record of it on the radio.
Oh, really?
And that's how he came to record it.
Wow. Well, I know you've written lots and lots of songs, at least 400, more than that probably.
I don't know. I've been so busy writing them, I ain't had time to count them. I really don't know.
Can you remember the song titles of all of those, or let alone the lyrics? It's been a long career now.
Well, I tell you what, I was doing a song I didn't write on the Opry last night, and I forgot the words to somebody else's song. Now, see, if I'm singing one of my own songs, if I wrote them the first time, so I'll just make them up. You know, I'll forget the words to my own songs, and I'll just write new words because I wrote the first ones. You know, but last night I couldn't remember the words that he had written, and I just stood up there with egg on my face. But that happens.
You did very well.
Well, you're very kind.
How did you end up on the daytime drama One Life to Live?
On a soap opera.
Yeah, soap opera. How did that?
My whole life has been a soap opera. It happened. My whole life, George, it's been the most amazing thing. I have just been so blessed. I've had these doors in front of me, you know, like door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3, and I've been invited to walk through them, and one was hosting a game show on television. That led to the soap opera. One thing just kind of leads to another. You know, I just keep walking through the doors, and hopefully there will still be some more doors for me to walk through.
Well, I know you've been on a lot of television shows through the years. Have you been on the Nashville show yet? Have you? That's a sort of a soap opera, I guess. In a way.
That's a big soap opera. Yeah. No, I haven't been on there yet.
I'm sure you will if you want to. If you plan to know.
I think you have to get in trouble to get on that show, don't you? I don't want to do that again.
With artists,
Notice I said again.
with artists like James Brown, Dean Martin, Elvis Costello, and a whole bunch of famous people recording your songs, have you ever had the chance to perform in concert with any of those non-country artists that have done your songs?
No, not really. Elvis Costello, of course, has been on the Opry a few times, and I got to introduce him on there one night. As far as a concert, I appeared at a thing where they honored a bunch of people from Georgia with James Brown one night. Yeah. But as far as ever doing a concert with any of those people, Dean Martin, Aretha Franklin could have sung of mine. Yeah. She ain't ever invited me to be on one of her shows, so I wonder why. But no, but it's a thrill. It's an honor when anybody records something that I write.
Well, a whole bunch of people have, including yours truly.
Thank you.
What prompted you and Brad Paisley to write the song "To Country"?
Well, Brad Paisley and I didn't write that. I had to kind of stop for a minute. I wrote that with a boy named Chuck Cannon.
Oh, really?
And we
But
got
actually,
together.
Bill, I hate to interrupt you. That was my writing the mistake. This morning I was on the computer, and I wrote by mistake that Brad Paisley wrote that with you, so...
Well, he recorded it.
I know,
So
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
fine.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel bad because I made
Oh,
a
no,
typo.
no problem, no problem.
You ought to.
Chuck Cannon will be after you, but other than that,
Don't get me, Chuck. I'm sorry.
Chuck Cannon and I were together one day. He's a great writer, and we were together talking about the fact that I had just written what I thought was one of the best songs I ever wrote, and I took it to a record producer, and he loved it. And I said, well, who are you going to produce a record on with it? And he said, nobody. And I said, I thought you said you loved it. He said, I do, but it's too country. And I told that story to Chuck Cannon. He picked up his guitar and he said, too country, what's that? Is it like too Republican or too Democrat? We just went from there.
George V gave me these questions here. And they're very interesting questions.
I know, but I don't type so well. Sorry.
Well, I hadn't really thought about this, but with all the popularity for American Idol, The Voice, America's Got Talent, and other TV talent contests, have you ever thought about bringing back the show that you produced for TNN called You Can Be a Star? That was probably the first.
Well, of course, everybody associates that show with Jim Ed Brown because he was the host of it, and we had a lot of fun doing that show. You know, it was amazing, the talent that came through there. The show, I don't remember how many years the show was on. The thing of it is, the funniest thing about You Can Be a Star was, outside of maybe one person, nobody that won that show ever went on to have a big career. But a whole bunch of the losers did. Which shows you how much we knew about picking talent. Joe DiMassina was on there as a contestant, and she didn't win. I think Trisha Yearwood was on there, and she didn't win. There were quite. Randy Travis didn't even pass the audition. That's how smart we were.
There used to be a show called the Arthur Godfrey Talent Scouts on TV, and they had a club called the Arthur Godfrey Losers Club, and some very famous people were part of that club through the years. You've written 2 books so far, right? Are there more on the way?
Yeah, I've actually written 3, but who's counting? I'm working with Peter Cooper. You know Peter, that writes for the Tennessean here. Peter and I are working together on an updated version of my autobiography. I put that out in 1989. I thought I was at the end of the road. I thought my career was over, so I'm going to write about it. And, you know, how many years ago was that? It's a whole bunch of years ago. So we are updating my autobiography. And the original one is called Whispering Bill, and I think the new one's going to be called Still Whispering.
I especially always love the title of your second book, and you didn't refer to it, but I think it's a great title too. A humorous look at the music business, titled, I Hope You're Living as High on the Hog as the Pig You Turned Out to Be. That's a title for it.
Not exactly what you'd send to your Valentine on Valentine's Day.
Wow. I think I'm going to shut my mouth and get out of the way and let you sing a little bit if you've a mind to.
Well,
Would
bless
y'all
you.
like to hear Bill sing?
One of my dearest friends. We came to Nashville about the same time, and we have been friends. Chip, should I tell him that you were always going to marry my daughter, but you never did?
And I was going to put here, I didn't have the chance to marry Terry, but Grant did. How about a hand for Grant and Terry? Their 1-year anniversary is early this week. It's the 15th of May. Oh, 15th? Wow. Oh, I said 1 year, didn't I?
Yeah.
Oh, but it's our 2-year anniversary here at the Viva NashVegas radio show. And what kind of gifts could you expect? Not this, but we got it. The one and only Bill Anderson.
Tell you what, being here at Handy Hardware takes me back to a little town called Decatur, Georgia. That's where I grew up. Well, I grew taller. I never did grow up. We had a place there up on College Avenue called Smith Hardware. And boy, this takes me right back to Smith Hardware. Right down to the toilet plungers I saw backstage. There's a whole lot of people looking down their noses at me. 'Cause I didn't come from a wealthy family. There was 10 of us living in a 2-room shack on the banks of the river by the railroad track. And we kept chickens in a pen and a pack. And everybody said we was poor folks. My daddy was a farmer, but all he ever raised was us. He dug a 40-foot well and hit 36 gallons of dust. The Salvation Army gave us clothes to wear. A man from the county came to cut our hair. We lived next door to a millionaire, but we wasn't nothing except poor folks. We was poor folks living in a rich folks' world. We sure was a hungry bunch. If the wolf had ever come to our front door, he'd had brought a picnic lunch. But we had something in our house money can't buy. Kept us warm in the winter, cool when the sun was high. Or whenever we didn't have food enough and the howling winds would get pretty rough, we'd patch the cracks and we set the table with love. 'Cause that's what you do when you're poor folks, and we wasn't nothing except poor folks. My mama and my daddy was poor folks. My brother and my sister was poor folks. My dog and my cat was poor folks. And even George Hamilton, the 4th and 5th, was poor folks. Thank you. I don't know what made me go back and dig that one out. I think it's just the environment today. It just kind of reminds me of a little small town, growing up in a little small town. And it was kind of like Franklin is to Nashville. Decatur was kind of a suburb of Atlanta, or a little town that you would go through on your way to get outside of Atlanta back in those days. And it was fun living in a place where they had a little hardware store like this, and just about everybody you'd meet on the street, you knew their name, or you knew their mama or their cousin or somebody, and that song kind of brings that back a little bit. Can I mention that I've got a new CD out? Thank you. Yeah, William got the first copy of it there, William. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. The CD is called Life. I didn't name it. I just told a bunch of my fan club members, I said, I've made a new record and it's got some sad songs and some funny songs and some songs that'll kind of make you stop and think and different kinds of things. I'm looking for a title. Somebody give me a title. And I had over 10,000 people send in suggested titles. And one man who lives down in West Tennessee, and he's a retired Vietnam veteran, he said, from the description of your record, I haven't heard any of the songs, but from the description of it, I think it just sounds like life, because life is happy, life is poignant, life is sad. He said, I think you should call the record Life. And so that's what it's called. And we have some copies over there at the desk, and then after the show, I'll be out on the square with some in the trunk of my car. And you can get a better deal from me if you come over there and crazy songs on this record. His daddy, no, it was his mama. Get to his daddy later. His mama was a pretty little Georgia peach. His daddy was from Tijuana. Born to a redneck Mexican family, raised on the beach in Daytona. He grew up and opened a restaurant and bar, serving up grits and tortillas, with a neon sign in the window that read, "Welcome to Bubba Garcia." I think I'm on fire at Bubba Garcia's barbecue cantina and moonshine margarita stand. This is one of the sad songs from the record. Actually, it's plumb pitiful. Oh, Willie Nelson sang with me on this record. Yeah, this is where Willie, I wish I could do a Willie impersonation, but I can't. This is a part that he did. A catfish fajita and a cold Pabst Blue Ribbon will run you $5.25. Try the sangria, a shot of tequila, but don't try your luck with the water. We've got homemade cervezas, refried green tomatoes. Take time to come down and see us. Chili con queso, Confederate pesos are still good at Bubba Garcia's. I think I'm on fire at Bubba Garcia's cornbread cantina and moonshine margarita stand. We've got a NASCAR race on one TV and a bullfight there on the other. A mariachi square dance on Saturday night. If you come, you can meet Bubba's mother. Woo! Si, senor! Y'all? I think I'm on fire at Bubba Garcia's cornbread cantina and moonshine margarita stand. At Bubba Garcia's barbecue cantina and moonshine margarita stand. You don't have to be crazy to do this, but it comes in handy sometimes. Thank you all very much. That was a fun little song. I wrote that with Buddy Cannon and Jamie Johnson. And you can get the papers on both of them. Chip, you're everywhere. Just everywhere. I want to do a song from the Life CD. I said there's some songs on there that'll kind of make you think. I hope this one makes you think. I noticed they're not ashamed to fly an American flag inside the Handy Hardware store over there. I appreciate that about it, folks. It's a true story. He came home to Tennessee, a young man at the end of 45. Only one of 7 men in his platoon that made it back alive. He must have seen some tough times, but he never talked too much about all that. Put his pictures and his memories in the cedar chest, everything but his old army hat. By the time I graduated, the winds of change had blown across our land. They were burning flags and draft cards when they bothered to take some kind of stand. And we used to laugh at Grandpa like he was some old relic from the past, 'cause he never left the house unless he was wearing that funny looking worn out army hat. Every eye was on him Anytime he went anywhere, they whispered and they pointed, but you could tell my grandpa didn't care. I ain't wearing this for them, he said. It's a whole lot more than that. For my buddies who gave everything, the least that I can do is keep on wearing this old army hat. He called me up one morning, said he'd seen it on the news on his TV. They've opened up a monument to World War II in Washington, D.C. I ain't getting any younger, and I wish someone would take me to see that. I couldn't help but think they're gonna laugh at you up there if you show up in that silly army hat. Two strangers both saluted as Grandpa walked up to the monument. One said, "Thank you, soldier, for a job well done." The other said, "Amen." And a young boy said, "Sir, my daddy went to war and never made it back. Would you take a picture standing here beside me? And maybe let me wear your army hat?" Every eye was on him, there was not a dry one in the crowd. They whispered and they pointed, and Grandpa stood up extra tall and proud. He said, "Son, just keep it," when the young boy tried his best to give it back. "You're a brave little soldier, son, and every soldier needs his very own authentic army hat. For your daddy who gave everything, the least that I can do is pass on this old worn out army hat."
Yeah.
Wow. But actually, that was for the song and for you. Could you please do a couple more at least? I didn't know if you were thinking, "Oh no, they want me to leave." Now, there's this song, it's about Michigan. What was that song title?
Yeah, that's right, because I'm sorry, I call him Fred. I call him Too Slim.
Yeah.
Know him, of course, primarily from being in the Riders in the Sky. Yeah, he said he was from Michigan.
Was he from Saginaw, Michigan? Do you all remember that song? Come on.
I can't take all the credit for this. Interesting story. There's a great songwriter in Nashville back in the 60s named Don Wayne. He wrote a CMA Song of the Year later on called Country Bumpkin. I know y'all remember that. Don Wayne came to me one day and he said, "I've got a song started and I'm not real sure how to finish it." And he said, "I was just wondering if maybe you'd take it and finish it for me." I said, "Well, I don't know." I said, "I'd have to hear it." And he took a guitar down off the wall. We were up at a publishing company. And he said, "Well, this is what I've got so far." He said, "I think it might be pretty good, but I just don't know quite how I'm going to get out of it." He said, "I was born in Saginaw, Michigan. I grew up in a house on Saginaw Bay. My daddy was a poor, hard-working Saginaw fisherman. Too many nights he came home with too little pay. I loved a girl in Saginaw, Michigan, the daughter of a wealthy, wealthy man. But he called me that son of a Saginaw fisherman. And he said I wasn't good enough to claim his daughter's hand. That's why I'm up here in Alaska, looking around for gold. Like a crazy fool I'm digging in the frozen ground so cold. With each new day I pray I'll strike it rich, and then I'll go back home and claim my love in Saginaw, Michigan. He said, well, that's it. Can you finish it? I said, wait a minute. Let me think this over a minute. All right, here's this guy. He lives in Saginaw, Michigan, and he's from the poor side of the tracks, the other side of the bay, whatever. And he's in love with this rich girl, and her daddy doesn't like him because he's never going to amount to anything. So he's gone up to Alaska to look for gold, and he's not finding any. And he doesn't know what he's going to do, and he's afraid his girl's going to marry somebody else. And he's about to go crazy up there in Alaska. Now, that's what you've got so far, right? He said, yeah. I said, and you want me to finish that? And then he said the magic words. He said, if you'll finish it, I'll give you half of it. That's a magic phrase to say to a songwriter, isn't it, Bobby Tomberlin? I said, okay, I'll take it home. I'll see what I can do. So I played around with it for a little while and called Don Wayne back up one day. I said, all right, I've got something here. I don't know if this is what you're looking for or not. I said, meet me downtown, I'll show it to you. So we went back to that same publishing company, took that same guitar down off the wall, and I said, I wrote my love in Saginaw, Michigan. I said, honey, I'm coming home, please wait for me. And you can tell your dad I'm coming back a richer man. I've hit the biggest strike in Klondike history. Her daddy met me in Saginaw, Michigan. He gave me a great big party with champagne. Then he said, son, you're a wise, young, ambitious man. Don't you want to sell your father-in-law your Klondike claim? And now he's up there in Alaska, digging in the cold, cold ground. The greedy fool is looking for the gold I never found. It serves him right, and no one here is missing him. Least of all the newlyweds of Saginaw, Michigan. You're the happiest man alive in Saginaw, Michigan. And he's ashamed to show his big old ugly face in Saginaw, Michigan.
I tell you what, I never knew that was your verse. That's the one that I love. That is so cool. Okay, so you wrote the Cal Smith song, The Lord Knows I'm Drinking. It's very neat, because that's kind of a controversial song in a way. Was that about the time of Harper Valley PTA, or that era, or it's kind of a...
It was after Harper Valley PTA. I think Harper Valley came out in the late 60s, and The Lord Knows I'm Drinking came out about 1972 or 3, somewhere in there.
One of my favorite songs. And then, what I love about this one, it reminds me of my great-great-great-great-uncle's name was Thomas Jefferson. And apparently he put the horseshoes on his horses backwards so they wouldn't know which way he was going. And you had this song you wrote called Walk Out Backwards. Can you sing just a touch of that chorus, or do you want me to read the lyrics?
Walk out backwards so I won't know which way I'm going.
Yeah, and so it's like, so walk out backwards if you must go, and please don't wave goodbye just wave one last hello. The truth won't hurt so much if I can just pretend. So walk up backwards, and I think you're walking in. What do y'all think about that? That comes in handy all the time. And then Slipping Away, Gene Shepherd sings that all the time on the Opry. Quits, we called it quits. We called it magic, and we called it tragic, and finally we called it quits. What do y'all think about that?
I got the idea to write that from an old gag that I used to pull on the stage. I had a drummer for years named Snuffy Miller. And Snuffy would spend the entire time we were on stage trying to get under my skin.
All right.
And he would do it. He would get under my skin. He was very funny. It was you know, we weren't mad at each other, but we carried along a lot. And so finally he'd get under my skin so bad, I'd go to introduce the band, and I would turn around and I'd introduce him. His name was Snuffy Miller. I introduced him as Quits Miller.
All right.
I said because when he was born, his mom and dad took one look at him and said, let's call it quits.
Well, you know this thing, you wrote many songs about lessons in life, like the verse there in the Saginaw, Michigan, and get a little dirt on your hands. I love that one. That's one that every father can tell his son. Get a little dirt on your hands. Get a little dirt on your hands. If you're going to grow up to be a big man, you got to get a little dirt on your hands. Get a little dirt on your hands. That should be the theme of Handy Hardware. How about that? Come on.
Hey, can I do, these people, y'all have just sat there and been so wonderful and so nice to me and to Fred and all of us. Can I put this bunch to work and get them to help me sing a song?
Are you all ready for that? Let me hear you scream.
You've been wonderful with your applause and everything, but you were talking about walk out backwards, and I think you're walking in. People say to me sometimes, they say, that's the worst song you ever wrote. And I say, no. This is the worst song I ever wrote. And I'm not going to do this by myself. You're going to have to help me do this. Don't hold up in clap signs. They're going to be too busy singing.
Well, can I bring up a volunteer to sing along as we get halfway through?
Do what?
Can I bring a volunteer up to sing along as we get
What do you
halfway
want
through?
to?
Okay, this might be a nervous volunteer. Here we go. I won't hold up the clap sign yet.
Forgot where I was now. There I was in all of my innocence, loving you with all of my might. Come to find I didn't have any sense. You had a different darling every night. Sing, peel me a nanner, toss me a peanut. I'll come swinging from a coconut tree. Peel me a nanner, toss me a peanut. You sure made a monkey out of me. All right, that was just a trial run. All right, that was just a trial run. Some of you knew some of the words, all right? Tell you what, we'll practice it before we do it again. Everybody here, all right, real loud, say, peel me a nanner. Peel me a nanner. God, that's awful. No, that's good. Toss me a peanut. Toss me a peanut. Then I'll do the part, because this is a lot of words. I'll do the part about swinging from the coconut tree. Then you come back in and say, peel me a nanner. Toss me a peanut. Where did I lose control? You say, peel me a nanner, toss me a peanut, and you sure made a monkey out of me. Or can you remember? Yeah. George, have you got a cue card with the words to peel me a nanner?
Only thing I can read is clap.
All right, get ready, folks. It's your big moment. I gave you kisses and I gave you loving. Tried to please your every whim. It all added up to a big fat nothing. Last night you up and ran away with him. Come on. Peel me a nanner, toss me a peanut. I'll come swinging from a coconut tree. Peel me a nanner, toss me a peanut. You sure made a monkey out of me. Now don't y'all feel stupid, huh? They're seeing you and hearing you all around the world. You're sitting there saying, peel me a nanner and toss me a peanut. All right, one more. I might as well be in the deep dark jungle, talking to the apes and swinging on a vine. Instead of here crying about the chance I bungled, knowing that a woman wrecked my mind. Peel me a nanner, toss me a peanut, I'll come swinging from a coconut tree. Peel me a nanner, toss me a peanut, you sure made a monkey out. One more time, this is so good. Peel me a nanner, toss me a peanut, I'll come swinging from a coconut tree. Peel me a nanner, toss me a peanut, you sure made a monkey out of me. You sure made a monkey out of me.
The one and only Tara Anderson and daughter Terry Anderson. How about that?
My choir.
Whoa! Come on, everybody, stand up. Let's get some exercise and clap. Would you like to hear one more? Let me hear that. One more. We're going to let Bill go get ready for the CDs, I think. Are you sure you don't know anymore?
That's the last one I know.
That's the last one Bill knows, but let me tell you what, we got some surprises coming up next. In a few minutes, we're going to have one song that Bill will remember, sung by a very lovely chanteuse who's wearing a polka dot dress. Remember, Bill's got some CDs out at the table. How about a hand for George Hamilton IV? And Fred LaBour, they can be at that CD table. We'd like to bring out our special people, Handy, Andy, and Donna. You know, they've got some special things going on here at Handy Hardware.
Yes, they do, George.
What about it, David Spalding?
I think they're on their way.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hand for David Spalding? He's a man of constant leisure. He is a man of constant leisure.
Yeah, middle-aged, middle class, and broke. Yep. We ready for Andy?
At this time, we like to always ask the musical question. It's a musical question about hardware. It's a musical question about handy hardware, historic handy hardware. Alice, I think you know what we're getting ready to say. We have a sign that David holds up. It's Don and Andy, and we got the question, which is, hey Andy, what's on sale? It's Donna and Andy from the historic Handy Hardware.
Good afternoon, folks. Today we still have metal detectors on sale. They're going to be on sale until the 31st. Now, the cool thing about this is you get rebates. Rebates of $100, $150, or $200 depending on what type of detector. Also, we have our new T-Rex pinpointers in, and we've got plenty of them in stock. They've been selling like I never would
Did you
imagine.
see where they're digging up behind the post office?
Yes, and I didn't get a chance.
Can we go down there with
I
our
did-
lights metal detector?
Well, I did get a chance because they were pouring rock, and you can't dig in rock like they're.
Okay, so when you do, can you actually, with that pointer, can you detect under the rock?
Yes, I've got a certain machine that we use to find pipe and,
Cannonballs.
septic tanks and cannonballs, yes, sir.
Can you even
They
find
can go-
David Spalding Jr. when he's just driving recklessly around town?
Probably so. This has a distance of about 25-foot penetration, so.
Everybody
yeah.
get that we can find septic tanks with these things?
Yes, that's right. So if you're in
In case
need
you
of
lose
fin-
one.
in case you lose, but seriously, I had a gentleman call me up one morning and say, "Hey man, can you meet me out at the such and such's house? The codes were where they did the codes and everything. The tank wasn't located where the blueprints were or where they said it was and everything else, and we found it like 10 or 15 foot away from where it was supposed to be. So that comes in pretty handy when you're paying somebody." To find, a septic tank that you can't locate.
You know, there's a key word here at hardware. Before it was called Handy Hardware, it was just called hardware. You'll find that Andy is very handy, and they changed the name to Handy Hardware, historic Handy Hardware. So handy is the key word.
That's it. That's it.
Education.
And that's about all I've got for the White's deal, but you can go online to White's Electronics. I've got a website there. You can buy the equipment if there's something that I don't have in stock, and look at their equipment, and it even gives you videos of how to operate and how simple these things are. And when you buy one, I'll take you out and teach you how to use it. But Donna's got another thing going on here, and I'll let her do her thing.
When y'all pass by the the checkout desk with your purchases, be sure to grab one of these postcards for Moonshine Hill. It has a beautiful picture of Moonshine Hill and Leader's Fork in the wintertime on the front, and the living room with a lit fireplace on the inside. Annie and I had an amazing opportunity to spend 3 nights out there this past week.
Did you
Testimonial.
do it?
Testimonial, yeah.
Testimonial, here we
yes.
come. Yes, we did it.
No way.
Well, we stayed out there. Did you want to know something
I
else?
saw you every day at Handy Hardware. You can't get away from that.
Now, I was the one, she stayed there, and I stayed there too, but I had to get up in the morning at 7 o'clock and drive back to work, and then
So
go
you were
back.
writing, you were writing a follow-up novel.
I was writing out there, and part of my daily writing routine is to write 3 pages to clear my head, and then do a writing exercise, then do some free writing, and then actually do some writing for the next book that I'm working on. And as part of my free writing, this is what happened. And this will describe to you to a T how fabulous it is at Moonshine Hill. As I sit here alone at Moonshine Hill on a self-imposed writer's retreat, I am the only member of the audience at a wind chime concert. A gentle breeze blows and the chimes make their tender tunes for only me to hear. Beautiful. The birds and other wildlife make their noises in the background, but I doubt they hear, much less pay attention to those chimes as much as I do. The relative quiet atop Moonshine Hill, save the chimes and the birds, is among the quietest you will ever hear. It is not deafening, but not by a long shot. It is the sound of the most pristine slice of nature's heaven a being will ever know. The incredible inn, or home, for a more descriptive term, is full of history from the past and history to be made by each guest who follows the last. Vows are said here and renewed. Relationships are strengthened and business deals are forged. Artwork of all kinds, visual, literary, and ones that remain only in the mind's eye of the visitor, are made there. The place is well appointed inside and out. There is sanity in every step. One need only look straight ahead, to either side, or behind to find it. It surrounds. There is only one way to experience. You must stay there. For an overnight, a few nights, or a fortnight, no matter the length of time, it will be time well spent in preserving your soul. And we found out today that Moonshine Hill is going to be carrying Handy Hardware bath and body products. So
You know, I use Handy Hardware bath and body products.
hey,
Don't let that scare you away.
Which one do you like the best?
Well, you know, I've been using the lip chapstick
Oh,
stuff
the
too.
chapstick, yeah,
I call it
that's a
bath
good
and body.
product,
It's
yes.
body.
it's really funny watching George bathe in chapstick, though.
We had fun.
Oh, thanks.
Get started, Andy. Get started. Handy Hardware.
Boy, talk about
I'll
that.
tell you what, when she was reading that, I started crying because I knew that David Spaulding would start crying.
I did, almost.
It is
It's a
quite
beautiful
amazing.
place out there, Hillbilly Opulence.
Hillbilly Opulence. You know, we may be talking with the proprietor of the
And?
Moonshine Hill.
And?
She can come out and smile and wave maybe, but in the meantime, we're going to bring up a wonderful ensemble who are going to do a song that was another one of the hits by the one and only Bill Anderson. Ann, come up and say hello to David Spaulding real quick while we bring the band back
This is
here.
Ann, this is a proprietor.
Hey,
And-
everybody.
Yes. Now sit on David's lap and just tell us about Moonshine Hill real quick while I set the microphones up.
Don't you want me to sit in your lap?
You know, Ann used to be a tour guide at the historic Country Music Hall of Fame.
Welcome y'all to Nashville and to the Country Music Hall of Fame. I'm your tour guide, Ann, and I'll be with you today through a 10-minute tour. Today we'll be singing a movie starring the late Tex Ritter, Jeannie C. Riley, and Tom T. Hall.
Whoa! And it's hard to believe, but she is practicing this same type of speech to give as a special volunteer here at the historic Hillbilly Music Museum in the back of Handy Hardware. So much fun. And have you ever spent the night out at Moonshine Hill? Let's see if this man can get out. Oh, that's Michael Castle.
I have spent the night out at Moonshine Hill, and when I woke up, there was snow on the ground.
How did you discover the opulence and this wonderful home and the grounds, the stately grounds in the treehouse out in the back.
I had to create the hillbilly opulence.
You created it.
I created it. We have a chandelier in the outhouse. We have an incredible 530 square foot tree house. It's got a dead tree right in the center of it. We've got 2 geese that live in the lake, Ozzie and Harriet. They have little goslings every year. And there's so much at Moonshine Hill, you can't imagine how special. Oh, the phone number is really easy, and I'm just going to give you the area code too, just in case you're listening long distance. 615-500-1234. So I'm just going to say one more time.
Let's do it again. Together, we'll all repeat it.
Hillbilly opulence.
Moonshine Hill. Well, you notice the room became very quiet because they see Carol Ann standing over here. They know that she is going to take her voice and wrap it around a song the way she does. You know, she has an album called Songs From My Mouth. And where else would the songs come from? But your throat, because you have wonderful vocal cords. But it's actually called Songs of My Youth. Do you?
Is this all?
No.
Hey, thank you.
She's Carol Ann Turney. Songs of My Youth. Now, this is a new CD. You have it here. Do you have some copies?
I have some. If you want one.
Well, I love that. You know, this show is totally rehearsed. For weeks, we've been practicing. And that's what makes it so special. I know, you know. I see my mother is falling asleep, so Mom, please wake up. If you're going to wake up, you'll wake up when Carol Ann sings this song along with me. I'm singing harmony. We'd also like to say we have a wonderful vocalist out in the audience who will be here, I think. Can you come May 17th? Krista Dial. You can be here May 17th?
Yes.
No way. How about a hand for Krista Dial? Yes. And we're on TV. I must remember that. This is Amy Comet, America's Sweetheart. She is going to help me back up Carol Ann on this song. Carol Ann, this is the song that took you to the stage at the Grand Ole Opry years ago in your youth.
I was much younger. I had more collagen.
But you look younger now. And so now you can do a song that Bill Anderson wrote and Connie Smith recorded, and perhaps no one besides Connie Smith sings this song. Well, and Bill also, besides Carol Ann Turney. Take it away, Carol Ann.
Boy, you can really over-introduce me sometimes.
Thank you.
I pray this is good. Here we go. When you found somebody new, I thought I never would forget you, for I thought then I never could. But time has taken all the pain away, until now I'm down to hurting once a day. Once a day, all day long, and once a night, from dusk till dawn, the only time I wish you were gone is once a day, every day, all day long. Y'all sound great. You gonna sing along with us? I'm so glad that I'm not like a girl I knew one time. She lost the one she loved and slowly lost her mind. She sat around and cried her life away. Lucky me, I'm down to hurt once a day. Sing with me. Once a day. Once a day. All day long. All day long. And once a night. Once a night. From dusk till dawn. The only time I wish you were gone is once a day, every day, all day long. Once a day, every day, all day long. Bill Anderson. Mr. Bill Anderson.
I'll tell you what, she's Carol Ann Turney. I told you she'd do that. What did you think about that? Let me hear you screaming. I would not want to be the one who has to follow that. But William Covington has a portrait of someone who is going to. William, can you hold this up when I say what I wanted to say? Because this man, well, his name is David Scott. He does magic. That makes him the Magic Man! David Scott.
Hey, George. How's everybody doing? What a show, what a show. Y'all like my new glasses? Yeah. Yeah, my wife tells me they make me look sexy. Nope. $100 bill gets her to say anything I want. I'm gonna do if I can get it out of my pocket here. I'm gonna do a rope trick that I've been doing for the last couple of months, and I usually use 2 white ropes. And the knot jumps from one rope to the other. And my wife said, well, something's lacking because nobody can really see what you're doing. So what I've decided to do is get a red rope. And if I take the red rope and the white rope and kind of link them together a little bit, you pull on them, blow on them, do the secret words. Basically, the ropes change one to the other. Now, the thing about it is, if I do it just right, I can actually squeeze the knot and let it drag all the way in. If I do it, practice it enough, it can actually come off the end. That's not really much of a trick. It's got a rope and a knot, unless you throw the knot back on the rope. Get a little pixie dust out of my pocket, make it jump. I can actually get the rope to melt together. That's my time, folks. It's been short. Love you guys. Thank you, guys.
His name is David Scott. He does magic. That makes him
The Magic Man. One announcement, George. One announcement.
It's time for an announcement from David Scott.
Tonight in Murfreesboro at the Center for the Arts, we're doing Razzle Dazzle Magic Show 23. It's our magic club that we do 2 shows a year. It's at 7 o'clock at the center. We have 5 artists, well, 4 really good ones and me, and we have a 2-hour show. If y'all want to come out, tickets are $10. Come out and see us tonight. Y'all have a great day. Thank you.
He's David Scott, the Magic Man.
Hey, George, where's Charlie?
You know, we got a question for David Spalding. David Spalding, what is your question?
My question is, where's Charlie? Is Charlie in the building?
Charlie's in the building. Here comes Charlie. How about a hand for Charlie? She is that Nashville red hair, and she is Nashville cool.
Listen, there's a charity tomorrow, Sunday at 6 o'clock at Dillard's in Cool Springs. And Miss Charlie, our own Miss Charlie, is going to be a fashion model in that.
Well, she already is.
Just so y'all know, it's a wonderful charity that helps children that have been abused. So if you're looking to go Mother's Day shopping, I don't go shopping that often, you can tell. Come on out Sunday night. I'll be there. I'll be the redhead in the blue dress. And you get a discount, and then a lot of the proceeds go to the charity. So I'd love to see y'all.
Thank you, Charlie.
She's with Charlie, and you can visit her on Facebook. Is Charlie's photography? You've been wondering, what about the piano? It sits there all alone. And yes, you're right. It does sit there all alone. Our piano softly weeps today because I received a phone call from Barbara A. Stone. She said, I've got better things to do. And she probably does, but I bet you're watching this as you're on that boat out down the lake today, Barbara A. Stone. So, there you go. She's probably got on that boater. She's not here today, but you know what? She'll be here next show, and in the meantime, we have a special guest. Why, she is the maestro of the tiny piano, sort of also, in tails and overalls. Oh, wow. That's Hillbilly Opulence here. And now we'll play some Hillbilly Populence. It's a pop-type song that we've been working on. I might move over here, but let me see. This way you can see Tom Comet What a lucky man you are. You all get to practice it at your house. This song you've been practicing for weeks. This is Tom Comet and Amy Comet, America's Sweetheart.
Yes.
And we got a song for you.
You started.
Wait, I know what. You want me to kiss your hand? Hang on.
Oh, that's right. Chivalry is not dead.
Can I ask you this question, Amy, before you play the piano? Might I kiss your hand?
Oh, yes, George.
Chivalry is not dead, but the time is going fast. Here, the Viva NashVegas radio show. With no further ado, Amy Cummings. How about a hand for a wonderful of an age-old song? Oh, that's right when I sang on there. That was a surprise, wasn't it? Yes, that's actually a public domain song, we hope. At this time, we're going to bring out a young man who, this young man plays the fiddle. He drives up here from Alabama. Once you've heard him play, you can definitely say, I've never heard anyone play the fiddle like that before. This guy is a class act. He is not a hat act. Are you a hat act also? Hat act. Well, I'm a hat act. This is very strange, but in honor of our anniversary, I went into my first record label, which was pretty much my last here in Nashville. And after I had my big hit in 1988, I went in a cowboy hat, and I said, what do you think about my hat? This is strange. Maybe we'll have to erase the tape. But the man said, you know, with all these music videos on country music TV, people have been able to see who the artists are. We don't like that. When it was on the radio, everybody sounded alike. But now they can see the difference. So what's great about that hat is, if you become a star and think, you know, I'm great, now we can work together. All we have to do is take the hat off you and put it on somebody else, and nobody will ever know the difference. The story of the Hat Act on the Viva NashVegas radio show. Now, Wes, you're going to play us a fiddle tune. What's this one called? High Level Hornpipe. How about a hand for Wes Scott? Unbelievable. You know, when the guys in the band heard Wes come into the store today, Historic Handy Hardware here in beautiful downtown Franklin, Tennessee, they said, wow, we've got to, are you all playing this song here?
Oh, no.
No. They said, we got to play a song together. And I said, yes, you do, but you got to make it quick because we're getting near the end of the show. And we've still got Babe Curry to go. And Michael Cash. So make this one quick. Enjoy this instrumental with a full band. Stomp your feet, throw something at me and William. Here we go. And the Westcott Ramblers. You know, that was wonderful. How about this man? He's got a family member who may be getting married this afternoon. I'm not really sure.
Yes.
No? Do you need a microphone over there?
I believe his sister's married.
Tom Cummin's going to help us get that microphone over towards this man. You know, he's brought his entire family with him, I think, today. The entire Curry family is here. No way. Dave Curry, you didn't tell me there were that many members in your family.
Raise your hand if you're related to.
Where did you get the red hair?
Target.
I'm going to go back and run the sound, but I want to introduce him properly. This is the one and only. There's no way to duplicate this. The original. Babe Curry!
We're going to be doing a song. It's gone by a couple different names. I can't really... I don't know. I'm just going to play it. So yeah, it's the closest thing I could think of that I've written to a wedding song. But it's not really dedicated because it's not really about that, because it's about me. So.
He's very good. This time I want to let y'all know, if everyone could please get up and head towards the table to shake Bill Anderson's hand. Everyone get up. We'll be doing a song while you're walking around and having a good time. But I don't want you to miss this chance to meet Bill Anderson.
Yes.
He's been kind enough to stay around for a long time today, and we're mighty proud. How about a hand for Bill Anderson? We'll be doing a song with Michael Cash for your enjoyment as you head that way. And I want y'all to meet Bill. What a hero to come be here for our show, along with Fred LaBour. How about a hand for Fred LaBour? Yes, sir. Go on and meet them. We'll play this song with Michael Cash. It's public domain.
If I could, I surely would stand on the rock that the
weep no more. The Pharaoh's army's got me rounded. Whoa, Mary, don't you weep. Well, Mary wore fleet and links her chains. I everything but in Jesus' name. The Pharaoh's army's got me rounded. Whoa, Mary, don't you weep. Oh, Mary, don't you weep no more. Oh, Mary, don't you weep no more. Pharaoh's army's got to round it. Oh, Mary, don't you weep. Alcohol. Take it, babe.
He's not my son. Yeah. I'm his uncle. Yeah. His mom's my sister. Thank you. Whoa. Not too bad for 18-year-old. Nice to meet you.
Well, Mary stood on the Red Sea shore, spoke the word with the 2x4. Pharaoh's army's got to round it. Oh, Mary, don't you weep. Oh, Mary, don't you weep no more. Oh, Mary, don't you weep no more. Pharaoh's army's got to round it. Oh, Mary, don't you weep. Well, brothers and sisters, don't you cry. Be good times by and by. Pharaoh's army's got to round it. Oh, Mary, don't you weep. Oh, Mary, don't you weep no more. Oh, Mary, don't you weep no more. Pharaoh's army's got to round it. Oh, Mary, don't you weep. Oh, Mary, don't you weep no more. Oh, Mary, don't you weep no more. Pharaoh's army's got to round it. Oh, Mary, don't you weep. The Viva NashVegas radio show.
I'll tell you what, this has been a very special day. I need Terry to come up here too. Now, Michael Kelch, come on over here. He dropped it. And while everybody's back there, you know, that song has moved me to sing this song, which involves Davis Potter Jr. Terry, I think you know this song if you'd like to come up on stage. Grant can too. Anybody who wants to join us, come on up here.
Come on up here.
And West.
Y'all know this song.
All the people are back there. I got my guitar over here.
This is George's favorite song for the end of the show.
He loves it.
And this is in the key of G if you'd like to play with us. Here he is, right now. George Hamilton V, which we call G, here at the Viva NashVegas radio show.
You know that's nice of you to say, Michael Kelch. How about another half of Michael Kelch? Well, you all probably remember it's been a long-standing tradition. But what I love about this is that people have all flocked out of the audience to go see Bill. That's great because somebody's folded up the chairs, which means I don't have to. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
David Spalding, are you ready to help us out with this?
Let's kick it off, George.
Help me out, David Spalding. How about the hand for David? No, David Spalding here. He's the man of constant leisure. He is a man of constant leisure. We got David Scott on the harmonica. And we got back into this, the one and only William Covington. How about that? Wesley Scott on the fiddle. And here we go. I won't talk anymore. America's Sweetheart. Baker Alabama, Michael Kelch, Tom Collett, Al Gall. You're back again. Scoot in towards the camera. This is the special. Terry, would you like to sing this song with us?
I know.
But if you would, when I say you get a line, I'll get a bowl, honey, what do you say?
Honey.
You get a line and I'll get a bowl, babe. You can move closer if you want to. Scream loudly. Carol Ann has gone. She's left the building, I think. I hope she didn't run away with Bill. Fred LaBour, no, she ran away with Fred and his family. She's headed back to Georgia. Here we go. A little trip to the Crawdad Hole on the Viva NashVegas radio show. Thank you all for joining us. We love you. Terry, come on up here. Well, you get a line, I'll get a bowl, honey. alright. Baby, my son out of the fiddle. Hear that turning? She'll find a place to fit it. What she doesn't know here, it's time for a harmonica solo! Are you ready? Here we go! Las Vegas radio show. We love you wherever you are. This has been a Viva NashVegas.com production. Good day.
Love it. Fun. Did you get? Thank you all very much. I know. Usually I have those. Never told Thank you so much.
Oh, no. Nice to meet you. This is fun.
Nice to see you again.
Are you doing? Love those pink shoes.